Good morning, everyone. Engineer or shepherd? Which philosophical disposition or way of thinking do you approach evangelization? Okay, from an engineer standpoint or from a standpoint of shepherd? It makes a big difference. Before I get into that and a little bit of review, I had an opportunity to go to Wheeling yesterday, and I presided at a wedding. And afterwards, I went to the reception, and there were, a lot of people there, and they offered some compliments. And then there was the backhanded compliment, and this was a woman. She's probably maybe 15 years older than I was, and the place where the wedding was and the reception was a little dark. And she said, "Oh my goodness, it's so good to see such a young priest." And she said, "How?" I said, "Thank you very much. That's kind." And she said, "Well, how old are you?" And I told her, and she said, "Oh, that's not young." I know it's not. Thank you. Anyways, so a couple weeks ago, we're looking at our purpose. Remember, well, actually way back in Easter, but then it reiterated when we were talking about the image in which you and I are created. That is a perfect communion of persons. It's the Holy Trinity. So what is our purpose? Our purpose is to know God, love Him, and serve Him in this world, and to be with Him forever in the next. It unfolded a little bit more with regards to that image of the perfect human the image in which we are created, that is to say, a perfect communion of persons, and we are called to cultivate communion. We are most ourselves when we're doing that. Okay, so the purpose is continuing to unfold. It unfolds even further today. Now, we see in the first reading, and God is cultivating this communion, in particular, in a people that He will prepare to receive His Son. And in the gospel, we see also Jesus being very specific with His mission. And so again, back to our purpose. Purpose is to cultivate communion. One step further, purpose is to share the love of God in Jesus Christ. That is to evangelize. And really, I guess in some ways you could say, you can capture it through Curcio. They say, make a friend, be a friend, bring that friend to Christ. Now, before that, it also means that you've had a profound experience with God, that you know the love of God in Jesus Christ, and that you yourself then, love is diffusive. It will want to go out. And so, really, we can just look. We don't have to go and say, well, I got to go and find somebody to evangelize. The reality is there's people in our family, our extended family. We have friends that have kind of fallen away from the church. There are plenty of opportunities to do that. But really, what is our approach? Are we more an engineer or are we more a shepherd? Okay? And it's more than just, well, this is what I do for a living type of thing. This is more of a mindset. And I'm trying to remember, I'm not going to get, Stephen Kinder, I think, is the name, or Pinker, I think. And I still haven't fully read the book, but this was his philosophy, and it has to do with parents. See, if you're a parent and you think, okay, I'm going to create a genius, they're going to listen to classical music, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to engineer the way they are going to turn out, then we're missing what rational psychology is saying over the last 20 years. And I do say rational psychology. Rational psychology does admit that they are a subscience to philosophy. Okay, so they never leave the natural light of reason, or that foundation of philosophy, which is right thinking. So the rational psychology is saying in today that we shouldn't look at our children as a blank slate. And that's actually true spiritually too. See, it's better to look at them as a mosaic of the genetic material of everybody that's gone before us. And that a lot of that is kind of determinative. And so as a parent, instead of taking a mindset of an engineer, and engineering is good, and we should plan things out, but the point is that as an engineer, you can plan something out, and you can make it, and you are completely in control. But here, we're not. Well, what we can do, and it's the same thing with evangelization, the same thing bringing up children. If you take the disposition of a shepherd, then there's still planning involved. There's still a goal. But what does a shepherd do? A shepherd leads them to a good pasture, feeds them, cares for them, nourishes, embraces, goes after them when they go astray, brings them back. And it's this type of disposition that we need to take with regards to evangelization. Because you can't sit down and kind of plan it out and control it. You can have a plan, but what we need to do is cultivate that communion and give them a space where God can work. Engineer or shepherd?